Welcome back to The Blood Side, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything without a filter. I'm your host, Sydney, and it has been a long time since I've filmed. I think the last time I posted a podcast was like over 2 months ago, so I apologize for anybody that subscribed to me and then I just disappeared. I have just been going through a lot and I've stopped creating, and I'm trying to get my spark back because I do really care about filming videos. It's something I'm very passionate about. But there's just a lot going on in life, but that's not an excuse. I don't want to keep making that excuse because there are people that continue to go after their dreams even when they have all this stuff going on, and so I'm really trying to get back into my stuff because I really want to be here and I have things to say, and I'm really grateful for anybody that has subscribed recently and just like likes my vibe. Like, you guys have commented such nice things and I just really appreciate it. I also want to say that I am super proud of you if you clicked on this video, because we're definitely going to talk about some deep, dark shit today. And I feel like if you clicked on this video, you're probably dealing with some stuff that needs to be healed, and that means you're taking the right step. Because when I see videos where I could feel like they could heal me, I always save them to my watch later, but then I'm like, oh, I'm not ready yet. Like, I don't feel like acknowledging that pain yet. So the fact that you're watching this, I'm so proud of you. That means like we're gonna do some healing today, and that is my goal with this channel and with this podcast. Is I really want to heal myself while simultaneously helping you guys heal, like talking about our issues, because this stuff needs to be talked about. Everybody deals with these issues, and it is so much better if we could just talk and have an open conversation about it. Before we get into today's topic, which is daddy issues, I have like some things to update on. If you notice, I have a tattoo. I don't want to do like a big reveal yet because I literally just got it done, and like the like bandage is still on, and then there's a bunch of ink and like blood, so like it doesn't look good, and it's also not finished. I have to go back in 2 weeks to get like the shading done, but I am so like I was manifesting this tattoo. I've been planning this with my tattoo artist for like 2 years, so I just feel so like confident and good about myself now that I finally have this piece of art on me that I've been wanting for so long. So yeah, I'm just super excited, and I'm gonna do a big reveal when it's done, and I'll show you guys, and I'll definitely link my tattoo artist like information down below when I do the big reveal, because she's just so talented and like one of the hardest working people I know, and she deserves to have her stuff like shown to everybody. So yeah, before we get into the topic, I should probably do a couple updates on my life. So last time I talked to you guys, I think I was telling you that I got this new job as a manager at a gym. I'm still doing that, and it's been going really good. It's definitely like a learning curve for me because I have to basically just like take care of a million things at once, and I feel like I'm like a mom because I'm just like in charge of a bunch of people, and a lot of the time like people just unnecessarily like stress you out, and so it feels like you're losing your mind every day. So this has been definitely like a huge learning thing for me. I don't regret it at all. Like, I'm so grateful still that I manifested this job, and I'm going to try and do my best that I can, but I am seeing this job as a stepping stone for me. I do want to do bigger things, but it's definitely teaching me how to deal with people, how to deal with like issues and kind of like people that are unhinged. Like, I feel like I've really learned to control my emotions, and like talk to people in a way that's like calm and like almost like gentle parenting. And it makes you feel like you're going crazy because sometimes you're like, oh my god, I cannot gentle parent another person. I'm just going to freak out. But it's definitely been something I've been learning. What else? Oh, we're moving soon. So I think I told you guys back in December that we moved to this place. But me and my sister are finally moving, and we're very excited about that because this place we're living in just doesn't work for us. We have 3 dogs, and there's like a lot of stairs. And so it's just very like hard on their legs because they're old. And so the place we're moving to next is gonna be like a huge open field, a huge property, and so we're just like very grateful. I feel like I'm manifesting. Like, did you guys do a manifestation ritual for the August 8th Lionsgate portal? Because I did, and when I tell you, I've already manifested like 3 things on there so far. Like, I manifested a new place to live, and within a couple days we found a place. I manifested my tattoo. I manifested like having like a close like girlfriend, and I've gotten closer with somebody in my life that I really like relate to, and so it's just been nice. And yeah, it's just like exciting when you finally start to see your manifestations come through, because I feel like when you're working on yourself, and if you've made it to my channel, you're probably somebody that also like wants to work and like heal themselves. When you're somebody that does that all the time, you kind of start to feel like you're going crazy, because you're like, when am I actually going to start seeing the results? And I just want to let you guys know that if you are working on yourself, if you're doing your affirmations, if you're doing your shadow work, if you're listening to subliminals, like, please don't stop doing this stuff because you had a bad day. Like, it's on the bad days where you make the most progress. Like, if you give up on the hardest days and you stop saying your affirmations, like, you need to keep going through those moments, because that shows your perseverance and the universe will reward you. Don't give up. I promise you, it is so worth it when you actually start to receive the things you've been working on. And it's not all for nothing. Like, there's no way that all of this work you're doing on yourself will be for nothing. I promise you, if you keep putting that energy out, you will get it back tenfold. So just don't quit. I hope that I'm giving you guys some sort of motivation, because I feel like lately we all need it. I've been feeling really burnt out lately. I've been feeling like I'm doing this shit on my own, but we can be in this together. Like, this is what I want for this channel. I want a community. I want us to support each other in healing, and if I can help you guys with anything, like, please let me know. Please let me know anything that you want me to talk about, because I feel like I could talk about any topic and have some sort of like my own experience on it. So yeah, I'm gonna stop yapping now. Well, I'm gonna continue yapping, but I'm gonna get into the actual topic about today's video, which is daddy issues. So the reason I want to talk about this is because I feel like every single person on this planet has mommy and daddy issues in some way. Like, we all have them. And I really do feel like they affect everything. Like, they affect our relationships with, like, our close relationships. I feel like they affect the way we just, like, talk to random people. They affect the way we see ourselves. I literally feel like it affects everything. And the more you start, like, looking into that, you really realize, like, holy shit, like, everything in my life is a reflection of, like, my, like, relationship with my parents. And then when you realize that, you can start to heal it and not let it control you, because it's like, we're not children anymore. I feel like a lot of us, like, had to grow up super fast, or like didn't have supportive parents, and so on the inside we still feel like kids. And I feel like all of us were just like kids that didn't get loved properly. But even though that's true, it's also true that we're not kids anymore, and it's time for us to heal and to grow up and to address these issues and to reparent ourselves, because we can't keep going like this. It's just not working. So I want to talk about what are daddy issues. So I'm going to read the definition on an Urban Dictionary, just because I think it's kind of like, I think it's true, but it's also kind of funny. Okay, so it says, when a girl has a messed up relationship with her dad, usually the father's fault. Either he left or is acting like a total bitch. As a result, the girl might be attracted to older men or men with anger issues if her father was an angry man, and sometimes will stay in an abusive relationship because it would just feel like home. If he left, don't ever blame yourself for him leaving. He just missed the best thing that he could have ever had. So that's a lot, because number one, it's only talking about women. Daddy issues affects everybody. It doesn't matter your gender. It affects, I feel like, both genders in different ways. I definitely agree with what it said about, like, the way you start attracting, like, you feel attracted to older men. Like, I do agree with what it said, but I just don't like that it only talks about women. And I've noticed that a lot. That girls often get blamed a lot, like, oh, she has daddy issues, but they're not blaming the dad, or they're not blaming the older man that's weirdly attracted to a woman that clearly has, like, mental instability. Like, why are you attracted to her, but she's being blamed for being attracted to you? Oh, she's attracted to older men, she must have daddy issues. Like, I don't know, it's weird, but we're not going to get too much into that, because I could go on a whole tangent about the misogyny of all of it, but we're here to talk about the daddy issues at hand. So yeah, I think I want to talk about first my experience with my daddy issues, because it does relate to what that definition said. So, and also, like, I've been feeling mine a lot lately. I feel like it's something that I shut off. Like, I know I have them, but I kind of was just like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do about it? I don't care. I don't really, like think about my dad, so I'm just gonna, like, continue on with my life. But lately, honestly, it's been affecting me a lot, so it's something I want to talk about, because I feel like if it's affecting me, it has to be affecting somebody else, and I know I'm not the only one that goes through this. I won't go too much into my relationship with my dad, but basically he is the absent kind, and he's also, like, a pretty heavy drinker. And so growing up, I feel like I had a close relationship with him when I was really young. Like, like 5 years old, like I was super like huge daddy's girl. Like I loved my dad, and I still look back on those memories and I'm just like I love him so much. Like there's so much of my dad and his good qualities that I love. But as me and my sister grew up and he and my mom had their issues because they split up, like he really turned into an evil, vindictive person, and he did so many things to hurt us and cause us trauma. Like he has caused me so much trauma starting at a young age. For example, I used to cry myself to sleep every single night when I was like 5 years old because my dad moved like an hour away because my parents split up, and then my mom worked an hour away because she had to work like night shift and stuff. So I would be alone at night just being like, I don't know what's going on. At my 5-year-old brain, like nobody explained to me, oh, me and your mom are splitting up. Like nobody explained that, and so I'm just laying awake at night like I don't know what's going on, where's my parents? And then on top of that, like my dad, he would ask me questions like, who do you love more, me or your mom? And like I don't think you guys understand the psychological damage that does to a child, the guilt that that places on them, because I feel like when somebody is over like in a position of power over you, and on top of that they're your parent, you feel like you have to like give them an answer, right? And so when he would ask that, obviously in my head I'm like, I don't love you or my mom more. Like you guys are my parents, I love you. Like when you're a kid, your parents are like your whole fucking life. Like they're your gods basically, because they brought you into this world, so they are your god. And so when they're asking you that, you feel like, wait, I have to choose, like I have to pick somebody that I love more. And so I obviously said him, and the way I felt so guilty, like I would lay awake crying because I'm like, I can't believe I said I love him more, like I love my mom so much. And I would just bawl my eyes out because the types of manipulation stuff he would do would just literally leave me like a wreck, and I would pee the bed every single night. Like I had a lot of emotional issues as a kid, and that's really affected me as an adult because I didn't understand like I had all these issues. I just was a kid not being loved or taken care of properly, and it really affected me. And one of the ways it affected me is I was definitely promiscuous in high school. Like because I didn't have, like, because I had a lot of abandonment issues, I didn't really have a strong presence from my dad. Like, he was always kind of just, like, not there for us. He, like, if we ever need picked up, he would always say, oh, I'm too drunk to do so. Like, he was never there. Like, he wasn't there when you needed him. He was absent. He also just did a lot of things where I resented him. And so we mainly lived with our mom, but our mom was always working. And so I didn't have the emotional support that I needed, like, in my in my developing years. And so what do you do when you have no one supporting you? You start to rely on relationships. And so I started dating from a pretty young age and having sex from a young age. And if I could go back now, I would totally redo it. But at the same time, I feel like I understand why I did that. I understand why I was promiscuous and relying on high school boys to give me attention, because I wasn't getting the attention I needed as a child. I wasn't getting the love, so I was seeking it out in other people. And often when you're in that vulnerable state, you're going to attract people that want to use you, either for your body or just to control you. And that is a lot of the types of relationships I always end up in, and still to this day, I find myself ending up in them. One of the really bad relationships that I got myself into as a result of these issues was when I first got out of high school, okay? And I've talked about this on my channel before. If you want to watch, like, the full detailed story, I will link it, like, up above, either this side, I don't know. Because I got groomed by an older man. And if you guys have ever experienced getting groomed, I would definitely recommend watching that video. It is a long one, but if you're interested, I would recommend, because I talk about, like, my whole grooming story and kind of, like, everything that went down with it. But yeah, that was something that I dealt with right out of high school. I had just graduated. You graduate in like June, right? And then I started this new job in October. So, and my birthday's in October. So I literally had just turned 18, by the way, okay? So like I was just an adult. So no, it wasn't like illegal technically, but like, you know what I mean? That's the thing that older men will say, like, oh, well, she's not underage, so it's fine. No, it's not, because this person is still mentally a child, and you are taking advantage of them, period. I don't care. I don't care about the technicalities. You're weird. So yeah, I start this new job, and I quickly started having this older man start to manipulate me, and because of my lack of closeness and emotional support from my parents, I was like a perfect target for this man. Like, I had nobody supporting me, and I was just like this vulnerable ass girl. I had just gotten out of a really like controlling relationship with somebody I was with in high school, and so I was primed and ready to go for this man to groom me. And this man was 37 years old, and he was an alcoholic, and he would just like call me all these names, and it was crazy because one day I woke up and I was like, I started this job to save money for college, and somehow I found myself taking care of an alcoholic 40-year-old. And I was just like, how the fuck did I get here? And I knew back then too, like, I had daddy issues, and that was probably the result, but it was almost like I was so numb to what was happening, how abandoned I was. I was like, I don't care. Like, I'm just like on autopilot, and this person is here taking care of me, and so I'm just gonna go along with it. Thank God I woke up and realized. A lot of people don't, and if you're in something like that, I really hope you do. I did have people telling me to get out of it, but I didn't listen to them. I realized on my own, and that's what sucks about abusive relationships or grooming situations, is like, you're honestly not going to leave until you realize how fucked up it is for yourself. Though, if you want to know the reason or why I realized I need to get out, it was because I wasn't feeling up to sexual intercourse, and he kept begging me, and it was in that moment that I just felt like, this sounds really dark, but I felt like a sex slave. I was like, is this all I am to this person? Like, I'm just like, they're upset that I won't sleep with them, and they're like, come on, Sid, it's been like 2 weeks. And when they said that, I got so repulsed. I was like, what am I doing? I was like, I need to get the fuck out of this. And then I switched jobs. Like, I went to a different like building, cut them off, and there was obviously still like months of arguments back and forth, but I got rid of that person, and thank God I did. And after that, I think I really started to address my issues. I still feel like I haven't like fully addressed them, obviously, but that was a situation that really made me realize, like, okay, there's something we need to heal here, because you cannot keep getting into these situations. It is not healthy. That relationship took everything from me, and just because I got out of it, that didn't mean that everything was fine. Like, there was 3 years, like, still to this day I think about it, but for a good 3 years after that, I was messed up. Like, I couldn't sleep. I was constantly like having PTSD, and I want to share something that helped that. I did like write a letter to him when I felt like I really got to the point where like, I didn't hate you anymore, I just want both of us to heal. When I got to that point, I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to release this. And I'm gonna read that letter in a separate video. Like, I'm gonna post it, so stay tuned for that if you want to hear. I feel like it's just, there's a lot in there that could relate to people. But I wrote a letter to him, and I ended it with just like basically being like, I am done with this. Like, you cannot have power over me anymore. And honestly, after that, I really felt a huge shift. So if you're dealing with anything like this, either in an abusive relationship or you have like these daddy issues, because I've also written a letter to my dad as well that I didn't send, and I'm probably going to do that again because those issues are still there. And I feel like with healing, it's not just like a one-time thing. You don't just write one letter and it's over. I think it's continuous. It comes back up as things happen. So like, you could heal from it, and then like a couple years later, somebody says something or does something that triggers that memory of like, oh my god, there's still something here that's not healed, and so time to do it again. Another letter, another like, if you're into witchcraft like me, like cord cutting ritual, because that's something that helped me as well. If you want to learn more about that, or like that interests you, I'll make a video on that as well, because that's another thing. Like, the letter paired with the cord cutting ritual, when I tell you, I was not thinking about this man every day anymore. I could actually get sleep. I could actually move on. Like, it's really powerful. So if you're open-minded to that, let me know. I'll definitely do a video on the cord cutting and the letter, and just kind of walk you guys through how to do that, because it really helped me. But yeah, like with daddy issues, I definitely feel like whether it's daddy or mommy issues, you end up dating people that have the same traits as your parent. I don't know why, but I think it's because it's familiar. When you're so used to toxicity, your subconscious will seek out that familiarity, right? And so you really need to work hard at like putting a stop to that, like addressing, like, I do not want to date my fucking father, so I'm not going to go for a man that has alcoholism, that is absent. And it's so like tricky because you can even think you met somebody that's not like them, and then slowly you start to see like, okay, but they are doing these little things. So you have to be really careful. I would honestly recommend taking some time off from dating to heal this stuff, because it's really, really, really hard to not seek out the same type of people like while you need to heal. It's really challenging. I kind of want to talk about how they affect women versus men. So like this definition states, the girl will be attracted to older men with anger issues, they'll stay in abusive relationships. I definitely agree. Like, it makes you, like, I don't know why, but it makes you attracted to older men because they're like your dad. And most people with daddy issues, I feel like their dad was either absent or anger issues or like both. And so you do end up attracting somebody that has these same traits. Like they only care about like drinking, partying, they can like talk down to you, they can be controlling, and it's really, really sad. So that's, I feel like, how it affects women. I feel like it also makes you like boy obsessed, it makes you very promiscuous, and like there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're aware of why you're doing it. If you are really being like quote unquote promiscuous because it makes you feel empowered and good about yourself, that's amazing. But you need to take the time to really think about, am I doing this because it's empowering, or am I doing it because I feel abandoned and I want to have that comfort of that familiarity with my dad, right? I also feel like it makes you have no boundaries. Like, you are so quick to just let anybody in because, again, it's the abandonment issues of like, this person wants to take care of me, like they're love bombing me, they want to like be there for me. And so you have a tendency to like open up really quick and like just let anybody in, and it's like, it's poor boundaries, it's poor spiritual protection and hygiene. And it, when somebody has low boundaries, it is basically like a light bulb to a moth, and all these moths are coming like, this person's vulnerable, this person's easy to manipulate, they have issues, like. And I'm not saying if you have emotional and mental issues that you're like bad or anything. I'm saying that when you have the low boundaries, people see this as, oh, I can take something from them, I can suck the life out of them. Because you guys have to understand, like, there are people, whether it's consciously or not, their goal is to suck the life out of you. They want to take your light, they want to take your spirit. And that's exactly what the groomer did to me. Before I met him, yes, I just got out of a very toxic relationship, but I had so much like charm and spirit. Like, I'm a Libra, I love being social, I love being charming and fun, and I love flirting with people and being like silly. By the time this man was done with me, actually only like a few months into being with him, I wasn't eating, I was angry, I was always like guarded with everybody because he convinced me like everybody is out to get you, and so you need to be on guard, and I'm the only one you can trust. And so I was like this, I was not myself, and he just made me so guarded, and I feel like I'm still that way to this day. But yeah, it definitely changes you to be with these types of people, and this is why we need to address it, we need to heal it, because we cannot keep giving our light to these men that just want to take. It's not working for us. And again, I'm not just speaking to women in this video. I know that there are men with daddy issues as well, but because I'm a woman and this is my personal experience, that's kind of the way I'm talking about it. But I am going to get into how it affects men as well. I feel like with men, well, also with women too, it also gives you a lack of discipline. Like, that's something that I've really noticed. Like, aside from like the people I choose to date, in my everyday like routine, I cannot follow routine. I have a hard time listening to rules and authority because I see it as control. I've always seen rules as control. I've always seen routine as control. And it wasn't until this year, like New Year's, where I was like, okay, it is my New Year's resolution to learn discipline, because I could be so great if I just followed a goddamn routine. Like, I know you guys know how it feels where you just feel like you can't do anything because everything feels too much. There's too much to do. Like, I can't stick to anything. I have too many passions, and how am I supposed to start one when there's all these things that need to be done? I understand. What I recommend, and what I did this year to really help me learn discipline, is I started doing mini challenges for myself. So one thing I did was a fast. I fasted food for 3 days. When I tell you, and I've already talked about this in a previous podcast, I'll link that as well. when I tell you that fast literally made me open my eyes to how capable I am and how disciplined I can be. Like, I was like, damn, I need to keep doing these little challenges. So I did a phone fast. I just finished a diet in the month of August. I just did a diet. I've done little challenges like that, and it does help you build your discipline over time. If you just try to completely 180 your life, okay, I'm going to stick to this routine, it's not going to work. I would recommend doing these short-term little challenges, because then you can prove to yourself, I can stick to something. And if you feel like you can't do a 3-day fast, do a 12-hour something. You don't have to do a fast. Do something where you stick to it and prove to yourself you can be disciplined. Because if you don't learn discipline, which is what the masculine energy or like the fathers are supposed to teach us, that's what they're supposed to teach us. And when you don't have a strong male presence in your life or a masculine energy in your life teaching you that, you're not going to be disciplined. You're going to be chaotic all over the place. You're not going to be able to stick to anything. It's just the way it goes. And that's something I realized this year. And I've definitely, like, I wouldn't say like I've healed it, but I've gotten so disciplined this year. Like, compared to the beginning of the year, I have accomplished so much shit. And I would have, like, I was just sick of like every year being like, oh, another year gone by where I didn't do any of my New Year's resolutions. Like, I actually made it a thing, and I've accomplished so many of my goals, and it feels amazing, and it builds your confidence, because when you can say, I fucking accomplished shit that I actually said I was gonna do, like, nobody can tell you anything about yourself, because you know, like, you are that bitch. Like, you actually can get shit done, and it just makes you feel good. Other ways that I feel like it affects men, I feel like they can take on the traits of their father, like if you've ever dated a guy with daddy issues as well, they can be very like controlling or absent. Like they could be workaholics, or they can just be like the runner. Like, you're always chasing after their attention and they're always not texting you back. I feel like they can take on those same traits. Maybe they drink a lot, whatever it is. I feel like they can take on the traits of their father that they had issues with. I also feel like they can also be the type that are like clingy. Like, it's weird. It's like they want control, they want your attention all the time, but only on their terms. Because when they want to be absent, when they want to like go do their own thing, they want to do that. But then when you want to be your own person, they're like, no, I need to control you, I need your attention all the time. So it's weird. It's like, I feel like it affects men and women in the same way. I also do feel like it makes men promiscuous as well. Like, they're kind of like turn into like that fuckboy energy where they constantly need the attention of people. I feel like all of this really comes down to the abandonment we feel from either our mom or dad. It makes you addicted to the attention. And so you're constantly chasing after people that will give you that quick attention, but then won't ever like, either you won't reciprocate it because you're acting like your dad, or they won't reciprocate it because you're seeking out people that act like your dad, if that makes sense. I feel like men are also very non-committal when they have daddy issues. They're the runner, they're the fuckboy, like I said. They have the lack of drive and discipline as well. They can be possessive. Lack of emotional maturity is a big one. Lack of being an individual. Like, I don't feel like any of this is like separated. Like, I feel like they're both genders. Like, all of these things I just listed for the men, the women do as well. I just feel like it kind of comes out in a different way, if that makes sense. Like, for women, it's more of like a neediness type of thing, like a desperation for like male like validation and attention. And for men, it's more of just like a not having shit together, like being absent-minded, running, it's that. But they both share the same types of traits. But yeah, overall, guys, I do feel like everybody struggles with this. It doesn't matter your gender, it doesn't matter anything. Everybody struggles with mommy and daddy issues. If you genuinely don't, I am so genuinely happy for you, because it's hard. It is really hard to have abandonment issues, abandonment wounds from your parents. I am going to make another video on mommy issues as well, because although I think they're similar and the same, it's two different vibes as well. It affects you in different ways. And so that is something I'm going to talk about as well. But yeah, I just really wanted to talk about this today because it's something that's been affecting me lately, because like I said, I don't have a strong relationship with my dad. I have tried to fix it in the past. I have tried to suggest going to therapy. He's just continued being absent, and now he's moving to Florida. I live in Canada, and so I didn't think I would care. I was like, well, I don't really see him as my dad at this point. Like, he's not a part of my life. But then I was sitting in my room thinking about it, and I was just thinking about how, like, damn, my brother passed away My mom doesn't really I don't have a good relationship with her, really. And now my dad's moving to Florida. I'm like, is everybody just fucking leaving me? And it also made me feel like that's you kind of have a sliver of hope in the back of your mind, like, oh, one day maybe I'll have a relationship with my dad, like maybe one day he'll try and maybe one day he'll care. And when I found out he's moving to Florida, it's like, oh, that sliver of hope, that sliver of what if, I feel like it's gone, because any chance we had of getting close, we're moving further apart. And I know that sometimes moving further apart can make things better. Maybe now I'll have an excuse to go to Florida and I'll have somewhere nice to stay. But I don't know if that relationship will ever get fixed unless he's willing to meet me there. And so another part of these daddy issues that you guys need to release is that trying to fix the relationship with your parents. I do think you should try, but if they continuously won't give you that effort back, you need to let it go. You can't force them to parent you. You can't force them to treat you with the love and the respect that you deserve. You can only do that for yourself by healing these issues. It is so important. We need to reparent ourselves. We need to become the best version of ourselves, because I know you guys have huge dreams like I do. I want to heal the world. I want to do big things. I do want to be famous. I want to help people on a large scale. And I cannot go after my dreams if I don't heal the shit within myself, because I'm never going to chase anything if I'm letting these things affect me. And I'm never going to be able to heal people and teach them things if I'm not healing it within myself. So yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to make this podcast today. I really hope that you guys liked it. I hope that you got some form of healing from this. Please let me know down below, anything you want to add, anything that I missed. Share your story if you're comfortable doing that. And yeah, again, my name's Sydney. This is The Blunt Side, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything without a filter. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so proud of you for having this conversation with me. And again, let me know if you want me to talk about anything else. And yeah, have a beautiful and blessed day. I love you guys so much.